season, Steven Spielberg presents a Matthew Robbins film about some unusual visitors.
Welcome to America.
This Sunday, December 13th, enjoy a holiday gift from Universal Pictures. A special movie preview. All families admitted free. Batteries not included. Rated PG. This Sunday, one show only. All families admitted free.
Subverting expectations.
It's just clearly fan fiction.
But Loki, it wouldn't have been as exciting for the audience.
White Mexican Iron Man adjacent to Mexican Iron Man. Listen, if I'm going to have a nickname, Austin one, it's going to be White Salsa. White Salsa. That's it. That's my Spanish name. Mexican. I'm Mexican. White Salsa.
This had nitrous oxide and testosterone pumping through every shot they took in this movie. It's how you have to make those movies. You can't go girly mode and be like, oh, wouldn't it be amazing if they did this? Get off the set, you prancing fritter. Get off the set. No, we need testosterone. We need manly men doing manly things, cutting people in half and screaming, "This is Sparta."
You heard that hashtag prancing fritter. So,
Boy, do I have a surprise for you.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Hope you're doing well out there. It's going to be a good one. Talk Hard Tuesdays is the day I'm always looking forward to, folks. Hopefully you are as well. And this is a good one. It was a fun pick. I have to tell everybody, full transparency, this lady right here below us who's blessed our lives so much by joining our show. This was her favorite, top of the list. So it went right to the top of the charts here. So yeah, batteries not included. Squeeka, how did this become your favorite? How did this become so special?
Oh, I have no idea. I watched it once back in the day, like in the 1900s, something or others, and I've loved it. This is one of the few things I actually owned on VHS, and it's always been my favorite. I love the storyline. I love the little robots. I love even the bad guy. It's kind of silly. It's kind of like I got a small mix of that Home Alone-esque feel with some of the outrageous gags and things. So
Okay.
it's just such a feel-good movie.
That's awesome. Ironcaster, my brother, had you seen this one before? Is this one new for you, my friend, or is this is a beloved favorite?
Oh, this is one I had never seen before up until this point. So this was something totally new for me.
That's awesome. That's great. Love when we can burst the old bubble for this guy. It's good stuff. It's good. Here he is, the man who comes up with the hashtags nearly weekly. Prancing Fritter was a gold that I had to dig out. I had found it. It's like, oh man, I got to clip that up, clean it up a little bit. So yes, hashtag Prancing Fritter. Loki, my brother, what is going on?
What's up? Good movie, good times, hanging out with cool people, talking about a movie that's fun. I saw this when I was a kid, absolutely loved it. But I'd seen Frank and Faye, the actors anyway, played two different characters in a movie called Cocoon way back in the day that I probably shouldn't have watched when I was that young because I didn't understand half of it. But So I love these two. I love the two people that own the diner in this movie. Absolutely wonderful. It's cute. It's funny. You've got some, like Squeeka said, you've got some Home Alone stuff in it, and even the bad guy is pretty cool. So
Yeah, some really good stuff. Some really good stuff talking about. Well, hanging out with us is this wonderful chat. Some great folks here. Louise Sparrow, this lovely mouse lady. She's hanging with us as always. So great to have her. Soul Assassin, my friend. Played your clip, one of your clips, my friend. Some great stuff. I know. Claude is hanging out there. He's doing his part. That's good to see him. Good to see him. Let's see here. Who did I miss? Fred. There's Fred. Okay, Fred. Batteries Not Included is like a cross between E.T. or Close Encounters, but centered around senior citizens. Oh, all right. All right. I would, yeah. I was thinking, like, I couldn't think of an alien robot that I could equate this movie to. So I was trying to figure out something, but didn't
not
click.
cute.
Well,
not cute like this.
not cute like this, right? Like almost like an alien short circuit or alien. It's its own thing. It was like an alien robot version of like Flubber meets Cocoon. That was my formula Mrs. Popson I came up with.
Oh, see, I haven't seen either one of those. Oh,
I kept going to Short Circuit when I was watching this.
Yeah, a little bit of short
And
circuit. Yeah.
the fact that this movie came out right between Short Circuit 1 and 2 just really strengthened that thought in my head.
Yeah. We'll talk more about, I think, the origins of the story and a little bit what was behind it and stuff. Because I think it lends us to some of the one of the underrated great TV shows of that era that just doesn't get any love. Chi is here. Great to see Chi hanging out with us and some other folks here. Let's see. Anyway, all right, so here we go. Anybody remember how much cheeseburgers were when that movie came out? Like 39 cents or something. Like it was nothing. Yeah.
I went and looked it up.
Oh yeah, what do you got?
Well, if you look down a little further, apparently in 1987 it was 64 cents.
64 cents. All right. I want to eat at my mom and pop burger restaurant in this movie. Yeah, I know. Some cool stuff. Nice place. Really cool, fun little layout for sure.
If you wanna eat at a little place like this, if you're ever and God help me, don't go there because of me, because it's like the littlest hole in the wall burger place you'll ever go to in a very bad neighborhood. There's a little place called Magic Burger in South Houston, Texas, that you can look up, that you can find. That's kind of like it's just a little hamburger shop like this, a little burger shop. It's homey and bullet holes in the wall and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, very cool. I really
South Houston.
I've always enjoyed those type of restaurants and that feel. One of my favorite places in Universal Studios, they have like a Mel's Diner and stuff. They have like the American Graffiti layout. I love that kind of stuff. I love those kind of feels, and this film kind of makes me kind of sentimental and emotional for that part. So, for sure. So, Angry Canadian is out there. Great to see him. Awesome. Across the pond. And then here's a burger conversation here. 64 cents for a burger, 40 cents for a taco in 94. Golden age, indeed. Fred's throwing out some more trivia, which is I think the movie really is about accepting change, because through the movie you get to see Jessica Tandy's character, who mistakes the character Carlos for her son Bobby, but her husband knows. Yeah, there's a lot of human emotions in this that makes it adds a lot of layers and depth that I'm sure we'll talk about. So.
And it's
The
an
one thing for me,
old-fashioned love story. Like, it's an old-fashioned love story. He sticks with her no matter what, and tries to stick with this diner partly because she's anchored to it, and it's just that's the way it was back then.
yeah, it's a super sweet story, and I love those sort of moments and elements. The trailer is very dark. They didn't give us a lot to go on in this trailer. I was like a little surprised by that. Didn't give us a lot of setup and kind of jump right to some things. But yeah, no, it was such a sweet experience. I think for us, we enjoyed rewatching it for sure. We watched it together. She doesn't always watch the Talk Hard movies, but this one she was like, yeah, we could watch this one. And is there a certain scene or moment or anything like that, Squeaka, that you're always like, this is my favorite part, or something like that makes it super special?
Oh gosh, there's so many. One of my favorites is when the little dude has just come back. He saves the little guy, the little bittiest robot, and he's trying to
Hmm.
fix the floor, and he's like tamping down the little tile to try to get it fixed. That's one of my favorites. But there's so many, and like when Jessica Tandy's character is in the kitchen throwing bowls because she's trying to figure out, like you can see she's trying to process what she just saw, and but there's bigger pieces too, like when not just the diner gets repaired, but you notice how they don't know each other and nobody really they're kind of maybe acquaintances if they even know they exist, but then they start coming into each other's lives and being part of one another throughout the movie. So I thought that was, you know, a nice storyline to these people that they saw almost all the time are coming and going. Now they actually truly know. So there's just so much about this movie that I could watch this movie over and over.
All right. Well, that will officially conclude our intro because DJ Ronnie G is here. He says we can start now. All right, fair enough. Here we go. Let's go.
Yes.
There we go.
And action.
There we go. Cue it up. So,
I love turtles.
yeah, turtles. I watched
Oh.
this so many times growing up, but it's been a while now. I should dig it out. Yeah, you should. We did the same. We felt the same way, Luis. We had not watched this in forever, and it was one that I kind of like. I didn't want to put on the schedule right away during the holidays because I didn't want it to be sort of like something we squeezed in. I wanted it to have its own week, and we really had a great time. We really did. We kind of curled up and enjoyed our time watching it together, and yeah, I really am thankful for this pick for sure. Loki, what are some of your thoughts on sort of like that whole love story and sweetness element, especially the stuff that kind of sets it up early on in the film?
Yeah, you definitely know there's something a little off with Frank and Faye. You know that something's different when she starts talking about her son, and he starts trying to explain to her that this guy can't be your son. She's desperately looking for something. Like Squeeka said, she's hanging on to the restaurant. All of that is a little heartbreaking. But the biggest thing is when that little one that you think isn't going to make it, he's able to get him. Able to get him up and running, basically, and breathes a little life into him. That little one's one of the cutest parts in the whole dang movie. Is that little robot? So it's the little ones. Yeah, the big ones are pretty cool, but it's the little ones. The one that gets caught in a hamburger patty, and the ones that all of that makes this movie a little brighter, even with some of that darkness of you feel so bad for Faye. You really do. She's confused. You can tell she's confused. She's probably got Alzheimer's. But these little robots are bringing a spark back to their lives that they didn't have, and now they're talking to each other. Like Squeaka said, they're talking to each other. They're getting to know each other, where they've kind of walled each other out and just been like, "This is my area. Leave me alone. Don't come to me. Don't knock. Don't bug me." Now they're conversating and they're getting to know each other and they're relying on each other and helping each other.
Yeah, that was really one thing. I'm not saying I didn't remember or anything like that, but I definitely didn't have sort of like the magnitude of how much of that there was. This sort of like massive amounts of reconciliation and inspiration to other people. It wasn't something that was in the forefront. And I will admit, I don't remember. I mean, this is super, super cute. I don't remember this being like a toy. I don't remember this being something that was really marketed out for the masses. You guys in chat keep me honest about that. For sure.
I never saw one. I would have had one.
Yeah,
my
me too.
parents watched this movie all the time back in the day, so I would have had one.
Yeah. So Ironcaster, obviously there's this massive setup with the family and the interaction between the couple trying to keep their diner and her deteriorating health, and of course some of the dynamics of the 80s cliche of the landlord that's going to take the property and all that kind of stuff. What were your initial impression in that basically setup stuff?
So there's a lot to really stop and think about, because we're being met with at first a lot of flashbacks and build up of the past, which is kind of feels reminiscent and kind of connected to a lot of stuff that's kind of going on today in many aspects. And so kind of getting this in tandem with the way things were and kind of seeing where things are, how everything's all run down, everything's falling apart, getting deteriorated. There's it felt believable, it felt lived in. Frankly, I felt like I was in Detroit.
Yeah, definitely some of the big cities right now. That's for sure.
And seeing just all these people around, these little communities of people coming together, the guys living on the stoops, this feels lived in. It feels authentic in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very, very true. All right, well, let's check in with chat. Let's see what they got to say about some of this stuff here. You zoom down here and say, "Hail to Zax." I'm not sure. I got them all out of order. Sorry about that. But yeah, very good. Very good. Slasher Fred throwing out. It's amazing how this one's one of those movies where it came out before CGI. The effects in the movie look really cheap. Yeah. I will tell you that I enjoyed the fact that it felt like little practical robots. I thought they did such a great job with it. I really, really did. I think that it felt okay. And there are a couple moments I thought with the exterior shots of them flying in the air, I thought it hadn't aged quite as well, but nothing I thought was really bad or anything. I don't know. What do you guys think?
See, there's something that really appeals to me with sort of those kind of I don't want to say cheap special effects, but where you can tell that it is a set where these things are in there. We're playing with different layers of film. There's something kind of endearing to it all, whereas it feels like there is actual effort and craft being put into these works. Whereas so much of the lazy CG that we get today makes me yearn for these earlier times where you have to stop and think like, now wait, how did they actually make this work? And like, I want to like stop and I want to dissect like all the effects that make these shots, make all these scenes come together.
Well, it would have been off
Yeah,
too
I
to
don't
have
know.
such perfect robots in this rundown environment. There's construction going on all over the place, and like I'm glad that it wasn't CGI'd and it didn't look perfect. I didn't want it to. I liked that they were in the junk shed. That kind of helped with the CGI because it's like, hey, they're surrounded by junk anyways. Like I loved that part that it's supposed to look unfinished. The robots themselves are made of scrapped parts. Like I think CGI today's CGI would be so out of place in this movie.
Oh, love these shots. Some of these pictures are just so sweet. All right, let's go back to.
Seeing these
we'll
two
stop.
here, seeing these two really reminded me a lot of my grandfather and my grandmother. And the movie really did hit home for me in a lot of ways because before she passed, my grandmother had dealt with Alzheimer's. So in a lot of ways, I'm seeing a lot of my own life kind of with these two. It hit home in a really familiar way.
Yeah, I kind of forgot, Loki, a little bit about how this kind of hits you in the feels, man. This one watching it together, it was a little bit more emotion in that regard, seeing them go through this together and him caring for her and seeing her, sort of a revitalization through these robots. But it was kind of an emotional thing, a little punch here and there for me. I got jabbed a bit, that's for sure.
Or like when he says, like when she's taking the medicine here, and she's like, "Well, Muriel and I don't say we say frog." Like
Yeah.
and he changes it and he goes, "Okay, say frog." Or like when she's at first like, "Well, where's Muriel?" Muriel gives me medicine. He's like, "Okay, I'm Muriel," and then she gets a little nervous. She's like, "Frank, Frank," and he's like, "Okay, it's Frank now." Like it's just how he just kind of rolls with it, and he's still so sweet and so tender to her.
And patient.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure.
And
All
it
right.
comes across so well with the film here. Like when he's getting frustrated over the building being torn down, where they're basically getting money thrown at them to get out. This has been his entire life. Everything he's had for the last like 20, 30 years is all tied up in this building. 50 years of his life are all in this place. The restaurant he had, countless holidays with his wife, the son that they've tragically lost. All of that played out here, and so that just the thought of leaving here in a lot of ways, it kind of reflects sort of his own place in life, where this building's coming to its end, and I hate to see it where it's at. And you're seeing that also with like, well, the wife's not quite the wife isn't there like she was anymore, and what's left for us?
Yeah, I don't want to derail too much here, but I can tell you, especially as you get older, look, you moved recently. Moving is one of the worst things that you possibly can go through in a lot of ways, man. And the idea of, oh, they're going to just buy the building, they're going to make me move, and I have a wife that I have to care for on this level, and I got to close my store, my business. As I've gotten older and we watched this together, we were just like, it was very heart wrenching, to be honest. We put yourself in those kind of situations, like, oh dear Lord, oh what a horrible situation. And they'd be bullied like this. Yeah, I would have been up in jail. I would have probably just those kids.
And it's not just it's not just a wife that needs looking after. Like Squeeka said earlier, it's the fact that she is hanging on to all these things as best she can, so she doesn't lose them. You move away from that and you put her in some place that she doesn't recognize, some place that she does not comfortable with. That's going to cause an even bigger problem. Okay. And for anybody who out there who's like, oh, it shouldn't, Loki should get used to it. No, you don't understand something. It's almost like when, if an adult late in life suddenly got Asperger's or became mentally handicapped, they do not understand. They don't understand. Why can't we go home? We are home. No, we're not. No, we're not. I want to go back to the diner. We don't own the diner anymore. Yes, we do. You're just trying to keep me away from it. And they can't control that. That's not something they're being mean about or trying to be nasty about. That's just what's going on in their head. All this stuff going on all at once. They can't control that. So you're not just adding, well, we got to move and it's going to be expensive and it's going to be this. You're taking her away from the only thing she still kind of knows and clings to. What's going to happen to her after that?
Yeah, one of the common things as we age is sometimes we do get stuck in a time. We get stuck, and that's where our brains are. They don't comprehend that they're in a different time, different place. So yeah. Soul Sassum did touch on the fact that I didn't see toys. So I don't know. Maybe some other company has done something or not. We don't know. But that's an interesting concept for sure. Shocked. Jacob Ironside popped in. Hey, brother. How are you doing? Well, he will have a show later on tonight as well. Make sure you keep that. Christian is here. Great to see you, my friend. Great to see you. Awesome. Always
I
been.
confess I went through an age where I did try to make these little robots. Just going to confess that I did
Cool.
collect pieces and old radios, and I did try to make my own little set. It didn't succeed, but I mean I did try.
Chi says he found stuff over on Prop Store. So Prop Store actually would be the film used products, and that the Flotsam Fix-It prototype had a $17.95 behind the scenes photo slide collection, $3.75. That's not outrageous prices for a movie that's special like this. So yeah, interesting. Very interesting. Snorty. Yeah. Sorry. Good to see you, brother. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll say they are props from a Spielberg film too.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where for some reason the movie's not so widely embraced and drug up that price, and when it is, it'll be outrageous for sure. So yeah, super super cool. Very 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 cool indeed. I will say, I just like we were talking about, just the concept of giving up all that you worked for and all of that. Yeah, this whole piece of it was a lot more setup. I remembered a lot more of the robot elements and the sweetness surrounding all of that than this part of the story. So in the rewatch, we kept discussing this piece, I think, a lot more than others. When we got to like this scene, and then we kind of have what happens beyond that with the robots and stuff, we were all in. The idea of the little baby robot. Oh my god, I can't wait to show this to my grandkids. I don't know they're going to enjoy some of the dramatic element, but the baby robot stuff will just yeah. So super cool indeed. All right. One thing that I think I wanted to look at, what your thoughts. Do you remember the TV show Amazing Stories?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Steven Spielberg's Amazing Stories. It was kind of like the Twilight Zone, but not.
Family Twilight Zone.
Family Twilight Zone, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's more it had like a more like sweet and usually there were more positive type endings than the disturbing, thought provoking sci-fi stuff that you find with Outer Limits or Twilight Zone. And it was called Amazing Stories. Spielberg produced it. This was supposed to be an Amazing Stories episode, but turned out that we just had a lot more interesting elements they wanted to kind of bring to it. So I thought it was great. And I'm sure that, we couldn't have moments like this.
The only one I remember is the John Lithgow one with the doll, where he makes all those dolls and he's like, sold all these dolls, and that there's that one woman that looks like the doll that bought all the dolls. It's like the only collector, and it was like he was making her every time he made the doll, and it was some kind of love story. I don't remember exactly what it was, but that's the only Amazing Story I can remember is the one with the damn doll and John Lithgow.
There's the Mummy one. That's my favorite one, right? So it's an actor playing the mummy on the set of like a horror film, but then his wife goes in labor, so he's racing to the hospital still dressed as a mummy, and then he runs into a real mummy. So there's this big whole mummy versus mummy battle, which is just played for gags, and then of course still making it to the hospital in time for your wife being in labor. That was one that I remember. And there was another one very similar to the pretty graphic heavy metal episode with the plane. And of course, there are zombies in the planes. And that one's like a World War II airplane. This one is about they have a damage or something where they don't have wheels to land, and there's someone trapped in the gunner. So there's just kind of like that. That was another one that was really good. So yeah, I think a season or so of episodes. I gotta find them. It was one of those yard sale finds where like the box is all tattered. You know what I mean? Like it's not even intact. Like you don't have like the actual shell of the box, stuff like that. So yeah, Amazing Story. I need to figure out a way to just do some videos on that, because that's a show that deserves some love for sure. So Fred's throwing out here. Spielberg got the idea based on those commercials. Nobody. Yeah, and it's kind of tricky because you can't really do a YouTube title. Like the actual title is the asterisk, lowercase letters, batteries not included, which doesn't work for YouTube videos and things like that. That's not gonna it's not gonna work. But the title is very much lifted from what we all dealt with in our packaging growing up, for sure. So there's a Mark Hamill episode as well, where he was a collector. Oh, that's interesting. I know Cindy Morgan, who played the girl in the original Tron. She was the hot lady in Caddyshack. She was in an episode that was directed by Irvin Kershner, who directed Empire Strikes Back. So little things that you remember in life. I don't know why I remember things like that, but I do. So before we got too much further into things, I just wanted to say, and I wanted Squeeka's take too, this performance is fantastic. I don't know if you know much about Jessica Tandy. She's a famous actress. She's done a ton of things. She is just remarkable in this role.
Oh, absolutely.
I love her. I haven't seen anything. I don't know if I've seen anything else with her in it. I know I haven't seen Cocoon, but I just loved her, and I just loved her little facial expressions and the opening scene with her at the market.
Mm-hmm.
She's just so cute.
Yeah. IRONCASTER, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Oh no, just total agreement. She's in a lot of ways a lot of the heart and soul of the film is her performance.
Mm-hmm. For sure. This guy I thought was okay. I didn't really remember his character at all, and I will say I really was okay with the ride. I thought it was all right. It's an interesting dynamic that I just didn't remember. I don't know about you guys. What were your thoughts on the artist story arc and the artist falling in love with the young Spanish pregnant lady and everything else going on in this movie?
He's not so much a character as he is a glorious set of hair with lines.
Oh, Lord help us. IRONCASTER.
Look, come on. You got to tell me, look at that. Look at the locks on this guy. He stands out. Like, come on. Like, I looked at him, I was like, I got to brush my hair now. Like, yeah, I do. I dropped my brush.
A lot of beard love, a lot of love. I don't know. IRONCASTER's, a man of his time.
He's going to start doing the Fabio thing here in a minute where he's like...
Yeah.
Oh, we zoomed in on him was it last week or the week before? We zoomed in on him brushing his hair. It's like, here, just go ahead and make the clip. That was well. Might as well. For sure. Yeah. But yeah, the Jessica Tandy scenes, she is just truly remarkable. She really does the heart and soul of the film, just ties it all together with sort of like the supernatural sci-fi elements, and then also the heart of, whatever reason, this stuff has sort of like rejuvenated her and revitalized their lives. It changed everything. It's really a great little story. So for sure.
Like when they're in the tool shed and they have their little dance and they're like the shed lights up and that one guy's like, well, what are they doing? And she's like, well, what do you think they're doing? I mean,
Oh, that was
I
so
love
funny.
her.
Yeah.
Or like when she's like, she's gonna be hungry. Like I loved how she would pop out with these little just one liners. She's presented as kind of not there for so much of the movie that there's these little lucid moments that she has where she is just a little spitfire. It's so fun.
Yeah. It was, I don't want to say laugh out loud. It definitely made us giggle out loud of the shed scene, right? The like what's happening in there kind of scene. Again, I think it was the fact that we just felt like we hadn't remembered some of those things, and it was just, I don't know. Look, wasn't it kind of a sweetness that you were kind of like? It was like a pleasant experience to have that feeling watching a movie. We don't get that a lot. We get that on Talk Hard. We don't get it where other places much.
No. Usually it's action, excitement, sci-fi, horror, comedy, but those feel-good movies that really make you feel good. Those are great.
Yeah, this was, and it's definitely coming after Back to the Future. It feels like kind of like bookends of that sweet and charming time of the mid '80s, and just you were throwing out some other ones. I know, Squeeka, you haven't seen some of those, but like a Cocoon, Ironcaster mentioned Short Circuit. There are others, and there's like these sweet, fun, emotional, family type films of that era, and just feels like that is something that's just gone. They don't target that audience much at all anymore, and when they do, those films just don't. They get panned by critics for sure. Let me clip over a couple more. So the little lady, I think she's really sort of just used as sort of a mechanism to kind of keep the story moving forward for the couple losing their diner, and of course the artist, and the fact that it gives I don't want to say this, but it was ahead of its time, a diverse cast and a diverse cast of characters in a building like this, because that is pretty much an authentic representation of what these buildings would be like. So that was fine. I didn't really have any positive or negatives to say about her in that regard. What about you guys?
Well, one of the bigger kind of things I was thinking about during the film was when we get to the part where we have the one little robot that didn't make it, and we have her there. She's pregnant, and Mason wants to go and like dissect the robot to find out how it works. And I'm kind of going to all these thoughts about like, whoa, I'm like, ooh, this is kind of interesting. We're getting a little bit of discussion around the ideas about like abortion potentially, or about life. Like there's a little bit of something they're just kind of playing with, they're teasing with, but we're really not going to go too much into it because we need to ultimately be a family film.
Yeah, but I think that's an interesting point, Loki. What do you think? Like a sanctity of life part that was definitely a more commonplace back then, for sure. That was pretty much the norm, but definitely an element that's kind of there under the layers.
Oh no, definitely. Those robots brought something fresh and joyous into their lives in a dark time. But all that light in those people, it was there. That's kind of what. If you really think about it, you think about the little robots like a flashlight. The little robots brought a light into their dark room. And that doesn't mean that the people in that room were dark. It just means that there was nothing shining on those people. They're good, hardworking, really good people.
Yeah.
They just needed that little bit of light to kind of open themselves up and see each other that way, in that light.
Squeak, I was so glad that you had kind of picked this film, because I felt like its message is one that we kind of need now, if that makes sense. Like I feel like this is I am just as guilty. You know, I only have like one or two sets of neighbors that I know really well, but there's other neighbors around me that I don't know like at all. It's like we live in our little bubbles. We get up, we do our thing, and then we kind of live in pretty isolation. Even though in this situation, they're literally on top of each other in this apartment building, basically. And it's like it took the robots to kind of bring everyone and kind of, I don't know, kind of harvest an actual community and a community relations, if you will. It wasn't really
Yeah.
a question. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, sorry. I was like, is that a question? Do I have to answer that? Yeah, I mean, yes, I agree. For sure. Like I said, they didn't really even know each other. And like, there's that one scene where he's following I think it's the bread box, maybe. And if I remember right, and he's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "3C." You know, like he didn't even know who his own tenants were.
Right. Yeah, that was also, I don't know, say just commonplace back then, but you feel like it was at least a little bit commonplace back then. I don't know. Ironcaster, what are you thinking about all these kind of elements that are kind of playing out for you there as your first time watch?
I mean, obviously there's a lot of little things we got to set up, we got to play off and build up. And, with all of this going on, we have these characters all coming together. But then there's ultimately the question of our antagonist, because for every good story, for every good hero, you got to have that villain who's going to be there to really just kind of squeeze them and make things a little more difficult for them. And in this movie, we've got ultimately Carlos. And, he's a fun character. But ultimately, at the end of the day, he really doesn't get much in the way of a comeuppance. It's just sort of he realizes kind of I was doing bad all along, and I sort of do care about these people. But like that doesn't really change the fact that he's, by the end of the movie, he's been trying to force them out the entire time.
Yeah, it's pretty late in the movie where he sort of kind of like has a little spin. But again, it's the robots, right? It's the robots that kind of change the situation. Like he sees the magic, he sees the phenomenon for himself, and that's what causes the change of heart for sure. Chi did the research for us here. There's no 4K on this. There is a Blu-ray that came out a couple years back, so if you don't have a physical copy, you can check that out, see if you can track it down. Appreciate that, Chi. Thank you for finding that. I will say though, I would not have given this guy a ton of credit, but his performance is actually, pretty interesting. I actually kind of liked his performance. He had a lot of really cool moments. The one thing I definitely go to, Ironcaster, man, look at the set design, some of the details, special effects. I mean, this movie is very well crafted.
And with that as well, first off, like how beautiful the renovated diner is. You're like, that really brought it home for me in a lot of ways that made me want to really see this diner do well. Like this place looks beautiful. It is a work of art. Like this needs to be preserved. But on top of that, it's all little things. It's, you're seeing these little hints of their apartments about the way they all live. And even down to like the little makeshift like bodies they've kind of made for the little robots, where they're made out of like Coke cans, and the one kind of looked like a bit of onion, weirdly enough, with the way the shell on it kind of looked. When the one that was like hopping around on top of the stove.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. This was something they borrowed for Kenobi. Wow, I have blocked out Kenobi so much, Louise. I don't even think I know. I'm sure once somebody out there let me know. Loki, you didn't watch Kenobi, did you?
Nope.
Yeah, I think you live vicariously through people like me who basically trashed it and warned him off and saved him some time. Yeah. All right. I don't remember Kenobi enough, Louise. Yeah, it would not shock me at all, and it would not shock me they would try to like pretend that they came up with something very creative when it had been done, 40 years prior. Yeah, super cool. Very cool indeed. Yeah, I was scrolling through the photos. I love this guy. I know that, Ironcaster and I were talking before the show how there is sort of like, I don't know, some crazy person, but it dates back even before the crazy times. It dates back to like 2011. But there's whole Reddit threads. There's all sorts of message board types of people just hate the messaging of the movie for like, the black guy's just dumb and it's just, we can't have simple people, we can't have sweetness, we can't have those type of elements, and it just it's frustrating. Movies like this just don't get the time they deserve because of those kind of nut jobs. That's just my thoughts anyway.
Well, I mean, you play the clip at the very beginning of what I said so long ago during Halo, subverting expectations, and it's
Hurting
ultimately these.
expectations.
Oh, I'm sorry, no, that was Loki, but yeah, it's because I forget the other part. Anyway, I am been up too long.
I think you broke him. That was pretty great. I think there we just kind of broke him a little bit. Look, it's good. Dancing fritters and subverting expectations. Yep, we got it. Next thing you know, you're going to drop a Daddy Bags reference and Squeaka will giggle.
Right in the daddy bags.
Just thinking about it makes me want to giggle.
Okay. Yeah. No. Let's do take two here. Okay. So the thing is, right?
So we're trying to be. I like. Let's be serious for Ironcaster. Everybody, he's thinking serious. He's trying to be serious. Deep breathe in. Deep breaths out.
The thing is, right, you've always had these types of people who are out here and just want to constantly break everything down and say, no, we can't have these things. Like, how dare anything resemble any of these, like, tropes and events that I think are overplayed out? These are a bunch of hoity-toity, sophisticated types who want to just merely be the one to tear something down, and it doesn't matter what it is. No hobby will escape their sight, no interest, nothing is niche as all. Everything must be taken over. Everything must be brought to heel, even the most innocuous, innocent of films. Let's go with that one.
I just can't. I can't do it, man. I saw this sequence. Look at his face. This is so wonderful. Like I don't understand why we can't have that type of joy and happiness in film. We just can't. They look at it, look down. They sneer down their crooked little nose, their little, Ivy League degrees, and think they're something special, and the world just goes on around them, and we don't get films like this anymore. So I don't know. I loved it. Thought it was fun. Thought it was really fun.
What worries me about watching these older shows and seeing movies made today is, and I apologize if this borders too much on politics, but there would be so much discussion about, why did you cast him as the non-talker? Why did you cast her as the, there would be so much discussion about why they were picked for these roles and how it's not fair to represent them that way. And yet I feel like the people they picked just fit. Like, he's an old boxer. Like, she's with a musician. And I feel like that's what would be lost if this were shot today. And I love the characters that they picked for each individual person. And they fit with the rest of the tenants and things like that in the building.
Yeah, I really think that's exactly, Ironcatcher, where you were kind of going to, was that they would not let you have something good. They would just bash the movie, create a boycott, all this other nonsense, because and if they try to remake it, that's exactly what would happen. So, Loki, you gotta love that sweater. That sweater's rocking right there. I mean,
Christmas tree.
Yeah. There's no other Christmas references, though. I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't think there was a Christmas reference, but he's wearing a Christmas sweater, so I'm confused.
He's an artiste. Maybe that's his only sweater.
I love this shot early on or whatever when they set that scene up. And I thought of that famous cartoon with Bugs Bunny where they're doing all the work around his hole. They're doing the construction, and they have this big sort of like contradiction with. That's kind of what I thought of the imagery there. But yeah, the movie is full of just beautiful imagery that's like that. Look at that. It's great. So much production value. Yeah, gone full circle in some of these photos, but they're fantastic.
And a great couple. What a great couple to lead this movie. Absolutely wonderful. Actor and actress.
Yeah.
Can you call them that anymore? Can you call them actresses anymore? I don't care.
I am. I don't care. I'm just not changing. We're not giving it up. We're like, dude, we're not doing this. Unless they're going to put them all in one category, then they don't get to pretend that they're two different things. Like, it's just stupid. You can't have both ways.
Actors of gender.
No, we're not doing
Oh
that.
no.
No, we're not. No. So, Christian Phantom Geek, somebody else across the pond. Great to see you, man. Love this film. Yeah, it's lots of love. Lots of love. Some good stuff. Yeah, and we're enjoying our time and some smiles and laughs, and hopefully you are as well. Thanks for hanging out with us, my friend. Thanks for hanging out with us. But yeah, it was. I look forward to hearing. I don't know we're going to have Cocoon time here on Talk Hard. I don't know if we'll be able to fit it in as soon as Squeeka would want to try to fit it in to watch Cocoon. But if you do, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that film because these two are the leads in that as well, for sure. So.
I love them. They're such an adorable couple. I mean, I'm excited. I would watch it. I just, they're so fun.
Yeah, indeed. All right, let's Ironcaster help us think about some of your thoughts and evaluating a film like this for the first time, because this is not it's a different kind of film because it's sort of like dramatic comedy. Like it just has so many emotions threaded together around this great story. I don't even know kind of exactly how to label some of it, because I mean there are also like, gag moments like this, like, how do you just not just laugh? The absurdity is mixed in with those, Alzheimer's scenes. So it's like, okay, but I wanted your thoughts as a first time watcher. What was going through your brain with some of those experiences?
The movie certainly tries its best to really play with a whole range of emotions throughout it. We've got our little soft, endearing moments with the couple, as we see them struggling with almost losing everything and having nowhere to go except some retirement home in Jersey. But then you also have the silly moments. You have a lot of cliches, a lot of tropes. It does its best and it tries. I think at the end of the day, it is kind of a bit of a middle of the pack film that you walk away from and you feel good, but it's not one that's really gonna stay with you like a lot of other films would have.
All right. I don't know. I have mixed feelings. There are so many moments in this that I just had forgotten. Loki, it's just we were watching it and I just thought this movie was way better made than I would have remembered it. The script has a lot of different elements and things happening that I wouldn't have given it credit for. This is also an early. Ironically enough, I just recorded a video on Curious George, the movie, because that's what the grandkids watch. And Brad Bird worked on that as well. But he worked on this. Brad Bird, who the famous creator behind things like The Incredibles, which everybody adores, The Incredibles. And it's like, he obviously can write a good story with a lot of heart, a lot of different emotions. And I don't know. Loki, what are some of your thoughts on how this film kind of balances all that? Because I don't know that there's a lot of films that do.
I don't think there are. This does it though. I mean, you've got, you got a little bit of action, you got comedy, you got sweetness, you got kind of everything. So, drama, it gets you in the feels. It definitely gets you in the feels. Holy crap! I know that guy back in the back.
I know, isn't that Louis? Like Louis Gomez? Yeah, it looks like Guzman. Louis Guzman.
Guzman. Yeah, that's
Is he an extra? It's got to be an extra. It has to be him, right?
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if it's not Louis Guzman. That's crazy. We should do a night, Ironcaster, when we don't want to do anything serious. We should take a night of just doing like bizarre cameos or extras, like the scene in Staying Alive when John Travolta's character bumps into Sylvester Stallone walking. Like, it just makes me laugh. Just like, I'm just always laughing. Like, what on earth? How did this happen? Like, we all just didn't know. Like, yeah. The Mad Doctor making an appearance. Hey, brother. Great to see you, my friend. Great to see you. And
there you go.
Squeeka, my friend. You're getting warned. Luis did a good job of warning you. Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one. It's gonna be a rough one. So I
You need
totally,
yes.
yeah. Mhm.
Both movies, you need tissues.
I'll warn y'all so y'all can buy stock and Kleenex before I do it.
There you go. Make it a blockbuster night. I mean, it was so special. I was just talking to someone about this. This is part of the death of the revenue thing, because I guess, Matt Damon did an interview and they talked about money and low budget films, whatever. And he's like hitting the physical media lecture. And it was like, yeah, y'all did this to yourselves. You're screwing up for us. You're screwing up for everybody. So now you can't make those Midland movies. You can't have blockbuster night and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Closest you can get is Tubi. What would we watch on Tubi? Tubis.
Watch on Tubi.
Damn Tubis.
We do. We have a few to pick from, but yeah. All right, I'll get it out of the way because Squeeka was going to be, it's her favorite movie. So Squeeka, is this like the 10 for you, the perfect 10 because of the rewatchability and stuff too? How do you score this for us all?
A 13 out of 10.
13. Okay, fair enough. Oh, we're good. We have 13.
It's just I love this movie. I've always loved it. Whenever people ask you what your favorite movie is, I think this is the one I put all the time. I mean, I have other movies that I do love, like Kung Fu Hustle, but I want people to watch this one too so bad, and it's not so niche as Kung Fu Hustle or The Magnificent Seven. I mean, Seven Samurai. It appeals to so many that I always tell people battery's not included, and they're like, "Oh, what's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, you gotta go watch it. You just gotta go watch it." So I mean, yeah, easy 13, 20 out of 10. Like, I mean,
That's good. Loki, how about you?
I think this is a great movie. I hadn't watched this movie in probably 20 years. It's been a long time. And even then, it wasn't like it was a popular movie then, but it's got heart and it's got all this stuff all of its own. And the story's great. The characters are great. This is when they used to make, here's your feel good movie for night. You guys bring up Blockbuster and Hollywood Video and movie rentals. If you don't make something big, like I said, it's going to Netflix, it's going to Tubi, and some people may never ever experience that because the video store was different. You could walk around the video store, and if you hadn't seen something and it caught your eye, boom. Yeah, you've got a whole list of stuff, but it might not even recommend this to you because it doesn't think you're going to be interested in it because it's not something you normally watch. So in the age of we will pick what we think you will enjoy the most, sometimes we don't want something we're going to enjoy the most. Sometimes we want something very specific that we're looking for, or we're looking to laugh our butts off, or comedy, or something that might not be the norm. And this whole predictive algorithm bullshit that Netflix does and other places do, get over it. I'd much rather just type what I'm looking for in a search bar than have to dig through your catalog of all these different movies. It's going to be different every single time I look at it because you're constantly swapping content in and out.
Yeah, I've kind of gone through a run now. This was one of those films that was not easy to find. I don't think it's streaming anywhere, so it was not an easy film to get a copy of and watch. I ran into this here recently with Master and Commander. That was also an issue. Boondown Saints was over on Tubi, but it was also there's like a weirdly dubbed version as well. So it was actually kind of confusing with over there, but Peacock had it and stuff like that. So there are some films that are not easy to find. I think it lends itself to the same problem. It's like, I want to watch this movie. Where is it? It's like, you don't own it. Well, you better own physical copy, folks, because it's really tricky. Yeah, for sure. Ironcaster, I'm really, really curious on what your thoughts are on a movie like this.
So, like I said, this is a movie that I feel like it has heart, it has charm. You really feel for the couple in this film. With the situations they're in. As I said, I have a kind of personal connection to that connects with these characters, and that's something I can't ignore. I'm looking at it, I see my grandmother, I see my grandfather, and having seen them in the kind of some of the struggles that they've had. But the thing is, like, I I feel like I'm coming up feels like I'm missing a little something. Like I wish we got a little more with Carlos, where we either saw a comeuppance for him at the end, but the most we get is he gets bandaged hands and he tries to, like, basically say sorry and here's some candy. Sorry for burning your house down, and trying, but at least trying to come through at the very end. Uh,
I don't
I'm gonna
understand
go.
why you want him to have a comeuppance. I'm going to spin my wheels here for a minute. Why do you need him to have a comeuppance? I thought he had like kind of a little bit of a redemption story. He saw the magic and the robots and the people. He has values. So he sees that he was basically being used as a pawn and a tool, being manipulated to be the bad guy. He's like, oh man, these are good people. I don't have to. I don't have to be this kind of human. Hopefully, we'll say in the world post batteries not included, he's a better human being because of the robots and stuff.
Well, I guess it's because we've saw throughout the film where he's going through, he's smashing the building up, he's doing all these things. He's, when they're talking about burning the place down, he's the one who starts breaking all the pipes to cause it. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like some sort of, either on a more personal level, of maybe maybe we cut to he's now working at the restaurant and he's come into it as part of that community, like something like that. I feel like would have made me kind of felt a little more endearing to it and really like it more, because I wanted to get to that point, but I feel like I was just shy of getting that outcome. But I think overall I'm gonna give it a like 6.5 out of 10. 3 stars, 3 out of 5.
Okay. Yeah.
But I feel like this was part of that time where not everyone got to have a happy ending. Like,
Yeah.
this is where movies started saying, yeah, this is a feel good movie, except for these guys. And they really started trying to get away from that trope of, oh, look, everything's great now. He works at the restaurant. He's not Bobby, but he's still loved. No, he did all of these things. Peace out with your brother. They're not gonna you're not gonna have a seat at their table. And I feel like movies at this time started doing that more and more, with especially some of these kind of important side characters, where it's like, no, we're not going to give you a happy ending for everybody anymore. This isn't Leave It to Beaver.
And
Yeah.
that is ultimately why I was saying I felt like we needed to see that comeuppance for him, because he did do bad, because he has tried to do these things, and yes, he tries to go in and save her at the end. It doesn't change the fact that this is in part his. He is partially to blame for a lot of these actions.
Well, I think if we read into it, Loki, that Louis Guzman was on set so he could take care of this guy. That's what they did. They called Louis Guzman in, and that's what we saw him in the background. Yeah.
Yeah, he taught him to be a baller too. He
There
did.
you go. Nas showed in and it says, hey, I just shaved. Ironcaster is making me feel insecure. Well, you should. You should. Look at these. Look at this. Look at the lovely locks. Look at this. Look at this. He's a walking shampoo commercial.
Real American genius.
Yeah. 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 We'll have to.
I'll be your waitress anytime, Nos.
We should do a clip of that and just put in some of that, like one of those Dove songs or something like that. Sure. So. Oh, look, I'm getting love too. Look at that. It's not even silver, bro. It's just white. It's sad. It's pathetic. I don't know.
He's starting to look like Santa Claus.
That was kind of the story. That was what the grandkids, that's what the wife started with, the whole you'll be Santa Claus next year. And I said, well, I guess I won't shave. I just won't shave. And I get to have a lot more cookies now. That's what I heard. Santa Claus gets the cookies and doesn't have to shave. That's all I heard. You hear what you hear? I'll hear what I hear. So.
And you can tell people straight up, hey, you mess with me, Santa ain't bringing you shit this year.
100%. 100%. We should do
Yeah,
it.
it's coal in your stocking.
I can't say anything. I mean, I've fallen under the spell of a bearded man, so I can't say anything. I mean, I know
gotta
about
be
the
honest.
power of the beard.
If we got Loki, like the Norse, like the big Norse robe and like a staff and the whole thing, and I could do like the whole
Yeah.
Father Christmas thing. Oh, we would just rock, man. We would just be the best. Because I lean more Father Christmas than the traditional red coat. I like the green coat. I like it's.
Can I be
I don't-
Krampus?
What are you gonna be?
Can I be Krampus?
Are you Krampus though? I mean, Ironcaster's here. I'm not sure I could cast you over him in Krampus. I
True.
mean,
I don't know. I see Loki more as the Krampus type.
Ooh.
Are you putting kids in sacks?
yeah.
He's gonna go beat him with a stick.
Even Jacob Ironside says, you got to respect the power of the beard. I know. He won once we go over. Miss Pop says I can't shave, so there's something to it. Yeah. I'm going to come down pretty similar to everyone else. I mean, if I had to score the movie as a critic, I'm going to go 3. I have a sentimental fondness for it because of its era and just the fact it's a PG movie that has just all the elements that I love. It's got all the things that are there. So for me personally, the rewatchability kind of bumps it up quite a bit from there. But I'm also sound like a hypocrite because I don't own a physical copy. So I've been like, hey, I got it just earmarked already to figure out how to get that out. So what is it? What RIP the stash? What are you talking about? Did he? Oh, wait, I see. Okay. He was
The mustache.
the Orlok stash. Oh man. Yeah, when you make a mistake, it's the rough, man. That's hardcore. When you
Go
make
to a
mistake.
barber. Believe it or not, barbers are not. If you find a good old fashioned barber, barbers aren't that expensive. So you go to a salon and you're like, hey, give me a straight razor shave and shave the dome. They'll charge you like $120. You go to an old fashioned barber, he'll charge you like $30-$40 to give
Oh
you
yeah,
a
I got a
clean straight
$25
razor
person.
shave
So, yeah.
and do the dome.
Mrs. Pop just started watching videos. She just does me now. I'm in the back. I get like the same treatment as the dog. Just put me on the table, basically. She just cleans it up. She's just a guru. She just took it upon her. Like I said, she's been scoping out all these beard kits and stuff, Loki. I'm in panic mode. Every time I look at the watch list, I'm like, oh dear Lord, what is happening? What is happening in my life? I'm gonna be one of those people.
You'll have to get a straightener.
See,
Oh,
I'm on the beard list too. I've been scoping stuff out. I'd say I'm on the straightener list too. I'm kind of looking at stuff like that.
yeah, there's whole kits and stuff and there's a whole guy. He has like 3 million people on YouTube. Whatever, just a whole beard care guy. I'm like, stop sending me links. Stop sending me links. I can carry it away. Can't be a part-time job. So,
I like how we went from batteries not included to beard included.
hey, it's fine. We're fine with just so.
I'm gonna have to grow mine out so I fit with y'all guys.
And then before you know it, you have special combs just for the beard.
I was told not to
Understandable.
comb. I was told to brush. I was told not to comb. I was told to brush. And you brush with the hair dryer down, and there's techniques, and yeah, it's a whole thing. And I'm like, I'm not sure I have up for the part-time job, but Santa has to look the part for the grandkids because there's new ones all the time. There's another grandkid. There's another one coming. I mean, I got years ahead of me in this whole thing. So it's a lot of cookies, brother. It's a lot of cookies. I got to stay committed. Committed for the cookies should be assured.
Stay away from the cookies.
Pops,
Yes.
don't
Put
get
the cookie down.
Put the cookie
tomatoes.
down.
Put the cookie down.
Yeah.
Cookie Monster say eat it, Arnold. Nom, 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 nom.
And then, ironically, you're gonna go join all that league of like the Santa Claus is doing all the bootleg toys.
Yeah.
All right. So, what we're looking at here, Chi says, add Amazing Stories complete DVD set, batteries not included, Blu-ray to the Amazon wish list. Okay. Yes. I'll write that down, Chi. Good reminders. Thank you for that, because that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. I'm literally writing that down because I don't know if those are on there. I don't know what Amazon, the Amazing Stories I have, so I need to go pull it before we buy something. She'll be really mad if I buy something that I already own. Oh my God, that's happened before. That's not good. Doesn't go well, does it, Loki?
Nope.
Does not go well. Nope. Wives don't like that. That's not good. Don't do that. Yeah. I get in trouble when I shop for Loki, and she's like, "Wait, why are you buying those comic books? I thought you had that." I'm like, "Well, they're not for me." I get the look like, I'm like, no, seriously, they're not for me. Like, wait, hold on.
Loki gave me a list. I was just looking and
I was just, yeah. So, but no, she actually took your box to the post office box. She said, no, it can't wait. I'm like, oh, look at you. She did the drop.
that.
She did
Tell
the
her
drop.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was super sweet. Super sweet. So, yeah. But yeah, do the, at least once a month, I'm usually shopping for somebody. So that's good. Get people some comics. I guess, Squeeka, did you get my first comic from me? Or was that somebody else? I don't know.
Yes, I did. My first ever comic I got from you. It was a Green Lantern one.
Yeah, we'll have to get you more. Get you something else fun to read on the side. Just nice leisure reading.
Oh, it's okay. I don't collect them, so I feel bad because I mean,
No.
if you want me to check them out from you, like the Pops library, I'll read one and then send it back. But
Oh, that's not a horrible idea, actually.
I would feel bad like keeping them because it's like I'm not a collector.
We'll
No,
get
no,
you
it
a
was
book
a
card.
book to read. It wasn't like an issue to like cherish or something. I can give it send to you just to enjoy. So, but yeah, that's good. No, I'm glad we watched this. I had really forgot. It sometimes it's good to do a talk hard that just can hit you in the feels and the emotions and kind of recalibrate with sort of like a level of appreciation. Like I said, I felt like I'm getting a little old, and it made me feel like, wow, baby, what if something happens, or they were trying to make us move and try to make us sell everything, and just what heart-wrenching feelings. Forget about the idea of the fear that you end up having of losing your spouse and all that other nonsense that you can't help but have, but the idea of that part of the equation was not something that we had ever talked about, and definitely not something we talked about recently, for sure. So, hello, Kathy. Kathy pops in and says, "Hey." Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Squeeka, now we've marked this off the bucket list, and I know we've talked about Kung Fu Hustle, and I know I've won you over with Seven Samurai. What is at the top of the Squeeka's favorite list that we haven't talked about yet?
Oh heavens! You say that like there's like a whole lot of movies I've seen.
Well, I figured that you would
I mean, a
make it
lot of
easier
ones on
for
my
you.
top list are like movies that I've seen with y'all now. Like,
Okay, well that's good. That's good. But I figured
I'm
there'd be a
like,
chance
you've
to.
been there for my top list now, Pops.
We're rewriting it one
I
week at a time.
I have others that are strange, like Time Bandits or Bubba Hotep. I have a lot of
They're both good.
like most of mine are like these weird like Kung Fu Hustle, like these obscure kind of
Cult
movies.
classics.
Yeah, those. Um, and then I have anime on my shelves, but it's those are usually the kind that I have. Are
Okay.
those kind. What's the one? Oh my gosh. Is it Baron Munchausen? Is that the name of the movie?
Yeah, we've talked about that a couple times. I don't
That
know if
one?
it was here. I think it was on my Pops cast. Someone else brought that up that we needed to talk about that movie. That's actually another one's good choice.
That
Yeah.
was what I had put on randomly, and as I'm watching through it, I was surprised to discover Robin Williams was in it, and I'm like, wait a minute, how did I not know about this?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So yeah, most of my movies are obscure ones, kind of like that.
All right, Chief's doing the research. Let's see. We've got Blu-rays 1 and 2 are made in Germany, not in one set. Disney needs to talk to Spielberg, getting a rematch. Well, Disney and Spielberg are not going to talk. That's not happening. So, yeah.
The copyright laws in the UK and Australia and all that are all different
Yep.
than they are here. And it may be something that's a lot simpler for them to do and something that might be a lot harder here because they've got to get people to sign off on it and do it. So,
yeah, this is that's a tough one, Chi. But thanks for letting me know. And with the age of the internet, it might be easier just to get them that way. So it used to be when you got them overseas like that, they were really not as good a quality. That ship has sailed, right, Loki? Like we can get stuff overseas now, and it's top notch.
and we can watch all the regions. Region locking is pretty much gone now.
Yeah.
So you can watch whatever, wherever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's pretty rare that something's locked. I haven't run into that in a long time. So, for sure. So, all right. That's good. That's good stuff. Any final thoughts, Ironcaster? You are the first time watcher of this, so I want to kind of like end with you giving us your like sort of evaluation. Does this make any sort of like regular list? Is this sort of a I might need to get sentimental, emotional in a moment. I'll watch this movie. How does this kind of make the Ironcaster shelf?
Well, the thing I was more stuck on thinking about was where would I put this on the shelf in terms of alphabetical ordering? Like, is this going to be the very first thing on my shelf because of that asterisk, or am I going to put it under B for battery?
Battery. B for battery.
All right, that's interesting. I'm a B for battery, but I can deal with your bizarre process if you need to.
Well, just because like technically, like the first thing in the title is that little asterisk, and I
Yeah,
think usually stuff like that goes very first, like right alongside the numbers.
I can't do the numbers in the front. I have to do the numbers in the back. I just can't do it. It just bothers me. I know. Look, you laugh. Go ahead, laugh away. It's okay. Because in my video store, everyone's like, "Hey, where's 101 Dalmatians?" It's like over there by the Z's. But yeah, it's like, get over there. I'm not putting the numbers in the front. I can't do it. No, numbers are over in the back. You all go to the back.
Number gets its own shelf. It gets its own little
No,
shelf.
of course, it has its own section. It starts with numbers, but they're over there. They're not.
Then-
They're not in the front next to the A.
And you do A, B, C, D.
So
I had no idea this would be such a controversial subject for us.
it is. They're rechargeable batteries. Thank you, DJ Roddy G. We needed a moment like that for sure. All right, fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would do with the shelf. Yeah, we'll see. So, Squeeka, what's going on the rest of the week for you? You got other shows? Anything else going on? You and Beard still doing some zombie killing? What's going on?
Well, I started a new thing with Eclectic Goat, and that was yesterday was their first one. We're not going to do another one. It's like every other week where we're watching the Carnival series from HBO.
Oh,
back in
yeah,
the
that's a
90s.
weird
It's
series.
a wild
That's
ride. It's set in
That's
the
a
Dust
crazy
Bowl.
show.
It was,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Where do you have
So-
Clancy Brown? Oh boy, does it get nuts!
See, I don't know Clancy Brown. They keep talking about the Clancy Brown guy, and I'm like, he's
Oh,
like,
you're gonna
You don't know who
Brown
Clancy
with that
Brown
show.
is?
I don't
She's
know.
probably seen him.
You
in movies.
watched Highlander with us, right?
No, I have never seen Highlander.
She hadn't seen Highlander. It was before she started with us.
We saw Highlander
have you
too.
seen Starship Troopers?
Stop talking,
Yeah.
Ironcaster.
No, I have not.
Oh, okay.
Don't tell me. See, I knew it. Once an episode, I got to make Loki make the face.
Oh yeah, he's got one of the most iconic lines in all of movie history in Highlander, where he's sitting there and he's talking to that priest and he's like, he's sitting there, he's like, why did they do this? Because he's talking about humans. Why do they pray to him? Because he is our father and we are his sons, and he sees these two nuns walking, he's like, happy Halloween, ladies. And you're like, oh my God. Absolutely one of the greatest, just crazy people.
Great
you will
villain
ever see in a
roles.
movie.
Great
Yes,
villain. He
yes.
Highlander's on our list for next year because it's the 40th anniversary next year. That's why we pushed it back. We pushed it back to next year for the 40th anniversary.
D-A-L-A-N.
I'm really hoping Highlander gets done in a theater. Someone puts it out because that would be such a fun theater
need to.
experience
I didn't
again.
watch it at theater the first time. Ooh,
Oh
that-
my gosh, that would be incredible! Such a fun movie to see in a theater.
But
They gotta
I've
re-release
got,
the Queen album.
I don't know if Beard and I are doing anything this week because I've got some things to do, like family stuff that's going to take me out for the weekend. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get to it Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be back next week, hopefully. We
Oh, we'll be here.
survived our zombie apocalypse. That was a wild ride, trust me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, just hanging out here on Tuesdays with y'all, and then the new thing with Eclectic Goat, and then when I sneak into Loki's streams on Fridays. But don't tell him.
Well, you can't be surprised if he knows, so just don't bring it up anymore. So, yeah, next week will be Hot Fuzz. For those of you out there, we'll be in another chapter of that trilogy. Be some fun
Is it
times.
true that if you shoot a person in the head, you can make it explode?
Is it? Is it true? Is that like a valid question, or is that from the movie?
It's from the movie.
Oh,
It's
I'm
from
like,
the-
I
it's
don't
from the
know,
movie.
Loki. You're asking questions I don't know the answers to. I have
It's one of the questions in the movie. Is it true if you hit a person just in the right spot in the head that his head will explode?
That's one of the things they don't tell you about police work. All the paperwork.
I had a buddy when I worked in the prison system. He had that little notebook. The first time I saw that, I almost like I lost my shit right there, because it's like and they will freak out. Every one of them would freak out. He'd pull that notepad out and start writing it down. Why are you writing? What are you writing down? What are you writing? So when I saw him do that in Hot Fuzz, I was like, oh my God, dude, it's my buddy.
I love the Notebook. Kathy, I No, I have not seen it. I don't even know what you're talking about. I had to pull it up and look. I don't even recognize the box. I don't even know. No, I did not know. Had not seen this at all. I don't know. Maybe the boys have seen this. I don't know.
I haven't seen it.
I thought you said Bubble Boy at first.
Yeah, I don't know what. I did not know what this was, for sure. So, interesting. I don't know.
Okay. I have no idea what that was.
Yeah, it was weird. So,
I mean, I'm a little concerned considering one of the first things that pops up under the Wikipedia entry is animal cruelty allegations.
oh boy, one of those kind of hardcore. All right, Ironcaster, what is you doing? T-shirt tonight? What's going on the rest of the week?
Well, past Tuesday or T-shirt. Hopefully, I'm going to be surviving a winter storm.
Mm-hmm.
But no. Friday night's over with Nick doing the Clobbing's Comics Shop, which is our little tribute to our late great friend Clobbing Times as we talk about comic books. And then Saturday's also always Tuesday with the Weekend Geek. And then Monday nights over my channel is Mech Pit Chat, where we delve into all sorts of stuff. A lot of pop culture stuff with kind of our own little slant on things. Last night was pretty fun. I wound up talking quite a bit about my RPG games, my D&D stuff I got going on, the stack of books I picked up, and what I've been doing there for the last 6 months with that game, which has been a lot of fun. And I think we might be possibly having on a guest or two here in the next couple weeks. Something to stay tuned for. Some other content creators on this YouTube space.
All right, sounds good. Kathy, I don't know. It did not look like something that I'm going to jump right on, and I have so many other things ahead of it. I don't want to make promises I can't keep. It definitely looks strange, so I might have to look into that a little bit. So I'm an eclectic taste kind of guy. I'm not opposed to watching it, but I'm also kind of like, I don't know if that's like a good thing for me. So we'll see. So let's see. Checking here, the gentleman who wrote and directed it, I think he knew his only chance he's going to do is make a movie, put everything into it. Oh, passion project. Can respect that. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. So we'll see. Loki, you're my saving grace on Wednesdays, brother, because I have to go into the freaking office tomorrow, but I get a little YouTube talk. I get some YouTube talk. So.
Some YouTube talk, and we'll do some YouTube talk tomorrow. This morning was a banger. Mm-hmm. So it was fun. Don't be a drone. Don't be a Greta. Don't get kicked in the daddy bags.
Can I be a little batteries not included robot, though? Is that okay?
That kicks someone in the daddy bag? Sure.
Can I be the tiny one that kicks the... I'll kick them in the tile bags.
There you go.
You want to go for a swim in the toilet?
Was it I thought it was a sink with a bunch of cleaning stuff. Was it a toilet?
Oh, that was. But then he went down, and they had to scoop him out of the toilet.
Oh yeah, he saved himself from the toilet. Yeah.
With a little tiny grappling hook. Squeak, you can have a tiny grappling hook.
So what's the talk about tomorrow?
Oh, God help me, I have no idea.
That should be the title. God help me, I have no idea.
God help me, I have no idea.
That's a great title for commentary about the world today. God help me, I have no idea. Like how I feel nearly every day.
That's my new slogan. Put that on my.
Yeah, the missus is constantly like, "Did you see? Did you see? Did you see?" I'm like, literally, my response needs to be like, "God, no, please, Lord help me. I don't even know. It's literally just my life right now. I just don't even. Yeah, I feel like everyone around me is like, "Welcome to the party, dude. Welcome to the party." I don't want to tell you. Ron, DJ YG's giving you some love, Ironcaster. Good for that. Always good.
Yeah,
good show,
man. The thing was last night in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm in the back of my head, let the little secret out. Like in the back of my head, I've got this little like, how would Loki handle this? And like, in all honesty, that is one of the big things I think about a lot. I'm like, I listen to you almost every day with the morning show, and I'm like, he's able to get up and do this every day, and I let my own anxieties kind of hold me up. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I have to do better than this. Like, Loki would look at you and say, what are you doing?
It's not about doing better. It's about having faith in yourself. And if I can get up there and do this, you can get up there and do this. Squeaking can get up there and do this. Pops can get up there and do this. You guys in chat that have been listening all this time, you can get up there and do it. People don't put enough faith and enough trust in themselves that they can do something, and you should. I understand there is a possibility someone would be like, "You suck" or something like that, but screw them. Don't listen to them. Keep, do what you want to do and talk about what you want to talk about, and above all, have fun doing that.
And the thing is, right? I oftentimes find myself more not overthinking myself. I'm like, oh, if I don't do this right, or I'm going to stutter over my own words and stumble over them. It's like, dude, you did it already. Let it go. Just keep going.
He would handle it exactly how it was just handled. Yeah.
I think one of the things is people concentrate too much on in the sentiment of if so and so can do it, I can do it. That's great, but do it your way. Because I think too many people get stuck in the but I'm doing it this and Loki's doing the same thing, and how come I don't have this that Loki has, and I don't have this and I don't have that? Stop comparing yourself. If you want to do a thing, do a thing. If I'm like, you know what, mornings are cool. I can be mornings. I'm going to do mornings. I'm going to do them. And if they're not, I don't want them to ever be like Loki's. I want them to be like mine. And I think too many people do that sort of thing.
I also think that you're going to have to roll with the punches, folks. I mean, so the most recent blunder on my channel was I did my show with Gourd King, and just like I had the little thing that we shared, like this thing, I did it wrong, and it was glitching out, and we had no sound for like 17 minutes. Don't know why. And then YouTube refused to let me trim it and edit it. It just would not work. So for like 5 days, the video that we did, it had 90 people, and then it had nothing because you can't. It's in a black hole. I do 20 minutes of no sound. So you just have to, because it does take the wind out of your sails. You get frustrated with yourself. You get frustrated with things like that. So I guess what? I spent some time crash coursing myself on how this stupid software works and how they order and how you put things together. And you're just constantly going to have to roll with it. We had the Magnificent Seven stream didn't actually start. And then it started and made a completely different show out of itself. Like, you just have to learn that, you know what? Crazy and weird things are part of the experience, and we'll be better for it. And I couldn't agree more with what Squeeka said too. IRONCASTER, you have changed so much. Your knowledge base is just incredible, like this, and you're so open and willing to try new things and different ideas and shows and concepts and genre. Just the talent and the ability is so. You haven't even scratched the surface, man. And I think the fact that you have a consistency, you're doing it now, it'd be your routine. And I think that's what you find. Loki just knows every morning is what I do. And then I got people that have my back that hopefully I can keep it going whenever I can't do it. And then that's the next step. That's why I love doing this, guys, with you guys. It's like, it's the week. This is how my week actually starts. I don't even count my Mondays anymore. I'm just like, oh no, Tuesday's the important day, and kind of go from there. And we'll see what happens next. Because my schedule got all messed up. I can't really do the Pops cast the way I was doing it. I can't do my Thursdays with Gord. My schedule changed again. Things changed. It's like, okay, well, now what? I don't know yet. I don't even know.
We adapt. And we
figure it out. Algorithm will catch up. People will figure it out. So
I will say I had a horrible, absolutely crap day. And I just told myself, I was driving home, bawling my eyes out, and I'm like, oh, it's Tuesday. F all that. It's Tuesday, y'all.
Yes.
And then I was like, okay, better day. We're good. so thank y'all for making it better. It's like, yay, Tuesdays.
And I can't thank you guys enough for that experience and being able to do this. Thanks to all of you in chat who make this possible. You guys just, as Loki says, you guys keep the light on. Like, this is the best. And just love doing it. And thank you so much. And you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Get out there, be blessed, talk hard, and as we always do, time to chill, be happy, put a smile on your face. A few things work as good as Bob Ross.
Bob Ross, you'll never see me tripping. Got the vision, I don't even need assistance. Bob